People always warn you about strangers. They tell you to watch the dark parking lots, to stay alert at night, to avoid the creepy guy at the gas station. But nobody warns you about the danger living down the hallway from you. Nobody warns you about the people who eat dinner with you, who share your bathroom, who sit on your couch. Nobody warns you about stepbrothers. My name's Avery Monroe. I'm 19. And before you ask, yeah, I've got one of those families. The blended kind. The kind everyone on Instagram pretends is cute and wholesome. The kind where everybody smiles at Christmas but low-key hates each other every other day of the year. My dad left when I was 12. And by left, I mean he packed a bag, took the dog, and dipped. No goodbye, no note, nothing. Mom cried for like 3 months straight. Eventually she met Michael, and honestly, he was okay. Basic dad energy. Grill master. Wears those ugly New Balance shoes dads think are cool. But he treated Mom good, and honestly, that was all I cared about. Then came Jason, his son, my stepbrother, 23. Cocky, tall, fake charming in that I've gotten away with everything my whole life kind of way. From the first day he walked into the house, he looked at me like he knew something about me, like he could see something nobody else could. I should have trusted that first instinct, because my instincts have always been right. Always. The first signs. The first time he made a comment. It was so quick I wasn't even sure I heard it right. I was coming downstairs in shorts and an oversized hoodie. Just normal clothes. Mom and Mike were outside doing yard stuff. Jason was sitting on the couch flipping through channels. His eyes slid up and down way too slow. He smirked. Damn, Avery. Didn't know you had legs like that. He said it like he was joking. Like he always said everything. And I froze. Not because I was shocked. Not because I was offended. I froze because that's what I do. My brain shuts down. My voice disappears. My body locks. It's a trauma thing. A childhood thing I never asked for thing. I hate it. I hate how fast my throat closes. How fast my brain switches off. How I can hear everything but can't speak. Can't move. Can't run. Jason watched me freeze like it was entertainment. Then he laughed. Relax, I mess with everyone. Yeah, sure. Everyone. The couch. It became a pattern. A routine. Every time Mom worked late. Every time Mike went on his night shifts. Every time I was unlucky enough to be in the living room when he was around. Jason would sit too close, not like a brother sitting next to you close. No, thigh against thigh close. Arm draped behind the couch close. Body angled toward me close. He'd pretend he wasn't touching me. Pretend it was normal. His fingers would graze my leg. Sometimes he'd squeeze my thigh like it was a joke. Sometimes he'd whisper stupid comments like, "Why you always so tense? You act like I bite. You're jumpy in a cute way." He said it all with that smug smile. The kind that said he knew I wouldn't say anything. The kind that said he could get away with anything. And honestly, he could. Because I couldn't speak. I couldn't even breathe right. The night I made a mistake. It was 3 a.m. I hadn't slept in like 36 hours. College papers, finals, stress. I was mentally dead. My dumbass smoked a bowl to calm down. Bad idea. Horrible idea. Jason came downstairs for water and saw me sitting there. Red eyes. Tired. Barely functional. He sat next to me. Too close. Again. He put his hand on my knee. Slow. Like he was testing something. And I touched him back. I don't even know why. My brain wasn't braining. My body wasn't responding right. I panicked. I froze. And then I did the wrong thing because my trauma response is screwed up. The second it happened, I wanted to vomit. I pulled away like I was shocked by electricity. I didn't say anything because I couldn't. But I got up and left, ran to my room and cried into my pillow until I passed out. The next morning I told him, "That shouldn't have happened. I don't ever want anything like that again." He put on that fake guilty boy act. "Yeah, of course, my bad. Won't happen again." Lies, lies, lies. It happened again anyway. And this time it was worse. Jason waited until Mom was gone, then slid next to me on the couch again like nothing happened. He put his hand on my thigh. I froze instantly. He always tested the freeze. Always. Sometimes he'd say, "You okay?" I couldn't answer. My throat wouldn't let me. He'd chuckle like I was being dramatic. Sometimes he'd keep going. Sometimes he'd stop. But when he stopped, he'd look guilty. And because I didn't want his guilt, his anger, his drama, I'd say the same stupid thing every time. "It's fine. Don't worry. I'm okay." Even when I wasn't. Even when I was breaking. Even when my skin felt like it was bruising where he touched. And Jason? He loved that. He loved that I froze. He loved that I stayed quiet. He loved that he could push boundaries and then play the victim. He loved power. But one day, something changed. It wasn't dramatic. Nobody yelled. Nobody slammed doors. It happened in silence. Just like everything else. I was sitting on the couch staring at nothing, feeling like a ghost in my own home. Jason sat next to me again, his hand inching up my leg like always. But instead of freezing, I felt something shift in me. Not fear, not panic, just clarity. Like my brain suddenly snapped into place and whispered, "Enough." Jason didn't notice. He was too busy enjoying himself. But that night I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to fight him physically. I wasn't going to run. No, if part 1 was the part where I broke, part 2 is where I started building myself back up. Piece by piece, quietly, dangerously. Because the truth is this. Some girls scream. Some girls cry. I calculate. Were the first move, recording the silence. The night I whispered enough to myself, I realized something. Jason didn't fear consequences. He didn't fear getting caught. Why? Because I never said anything. So I decided to let him talk, to let him confess in his own words. Silent girls make the best listeners, and listeners hear everything. The next time he sat next to me, I didn't move away. Didn't react, didn't freeze. I just tilted my phone on the couch cushion beside me and tapped the screen twice. Screen off, audio recording on. Jason slid close, way too close, and said, "You know you can tell me if you're uncomfortable, right?" As if he didn't know the exact reason I couldn't. Then he laughed quietly. "You're so stiff. Relax. I'm literally family." Fake, fake, fake. I didn't say anything. Didn't have to. His voice kept going. Dumb, careless, self-incriminating. He said things like, "I know you're shy. I won't go too far. You always look cute when you freeze like that." That one almost made my heart stop. Cute? He thought my trauma response was cute? I wanted to punch him in the face. But I stayed still. Because stillness, evidence. Stillness, choose strategy. Stillness, revenge. A step 2, collecting stories. People forgot they told. People like Jason think they're careful, but they're careless in the exact same ways. He left traces everywhere. TikToks he saved. Messages he deleted but forgot I could screen record. Snap stories where his friends joked about him being handsy. Voice notes he thought disappeared. One night I heard him on the phone with his friend saying, "She's not gonna say shit." She never does. I saved that too. A step 3, the therapist. I finally did the thing I'd been scared to do for years. I told someone. Not everything. Not all the details. Not the full past. Just enough for them to understand something was wrong inside my house. My therapist, Dr. Miller, looked at me like she already knew. Like she'd seen this exact story 1,000 times. She said, "Avery, freezing is a trauma response, not consent." And I felt something inside me shift, like a lock unclicking. She asked, "Do you feel safe at home?" And for the first time in my life, I said, "No." She didn't gasp, didn't panic, didn't push. She calmly said, "Then we're going to change that." She became my silent ally, a witness, a safety net, someone who could back me up if everything exploded. And step 4, the bait. I needed one final piece, the nail in Jason's coffin, the moment where he would cross a line he couldn't wiggle out of. So I planned it perfectly. Mom had a night shift. Mike was out of town. Just me and Jason. I sat on the couch deliberately, positioned myself like I knew he expected. Neutral face, blank eyes, silent. He walked in with that same smirk. "Movie night?" I didn't respond. He sat down. Too close, like always. He waited a second, then slid his hand onto my thigh again. I felt disgust crawl up my back, but I didn't move. Not yet. My phone was already recording. Then he said something I will never forget. "You act scared, but if you really hated it, you'd stop me." My blood went cold. He really believed that. He really thought freeze meant okay. I turned my head slowly and looked at him. Not scared. Not frozen. Just done. He pulled his hand away like I'd caught him doing something illegal. "Whoa, why are you looking at me like that?" I didn't answer. I just stood up and walked away. The recording caught every second. Step 5, the detonation. Mom came home tired, carrying groceries, complaining about work. I said quietly, "Mom, I need to show you something." Her face dropped instantly. She knew that tone. Knew it wasn't about school. Or friends. Or money. Jason was in the kitchen, pretending he didn't hear. I clicked play on the recordings. Silence. His voice. His laughs. His comments. His jokes. His excuses. His manipulations. His guilt trips. Everything. Mom went pale. Then red. Then she started shaking. Jason, get in here. He came in annoyed, like we interrupted him. What? I didn't do... Then he heard himself. His own voice. His own words. His own lies. Over. And over. And over. He went silent for the first time in his life. Then he tried. Oh my God, he tried. Avery's lying. Nope. Recording. She wanted. Nope. Recording. She didn't stop me. Nope. Recording. Mom started crying. The ugly, soul-shattered kind of crying. Then she screamed. Get out of my house! Jason tried to argue. Tried to guilt trip. Tried to fake cry. Didn't work. Mom threw his backpack at him and pointed at the door like a horror movie mom. And he finally left, slamming the door like a child. Glass broke. A picture fell off the wall. But he left. And the house went quiet, not the scary kind of quiet. The healing kind. Yum. Step 6, the final blow, Reddit. 3 days later, I posted my story online. Not his name. Not his face. Just the truth. 10K comments. Messages from girls who had the same freeze reaction. People saying, this is textbook. You aren't crazy. Your silence doesn't mean yes. Jason saw the post. Of course he did. He texted me. Delete that post. I know it's about me. I replied. If the shoe fits, Jason. He never texted again. The night Jason left, the house felt like it exhaled for the first time in months. Like it finally stopped holding its breath. Mom locked the door 4 times. Then she sat on the kitchen floor and cried until her face was red and blotchy. I didn't cry. Not even a little. Not because I wasn't hurting. Not because it didn't wreck me. But because I didn't know how to cry anymore. Silence had been my only language for years. Speaking felt foreign. But that night, something inside me whispered, you're free. And for the first time, I believed it. Just the weeks after the explosion. Jason didn't come back. Not once. Not even to get his leftover clothes. His dad came instead. He looked embarrassed. Angry. Lost. He apologized for things he didn't even know happened. Mom didn't let him talk much. She just said, your son needs help. Avery needs safety. And he nodded like he knew she was right. Jason moved states within a week. Blocked me. Blocked his dad. Blocked everyone. Coward. Mom checked the locks every night. Mike installed cameras. I slept with my door pushed shut using a chair, just in case. But the house felt lighter. Warmer. Like a storm had passed. The Reddit aftershock. My post blew up. Way bigger than I expected. Thousands of girls shared their freeze response stories. Girls who thought silence meant weakness. Girls who blamed themselves for reactions their bodies learned to survive. One comment hit me the hardest. Freezing doesn't make you weak. It means your body tried to keep you alive. I read it maybe 50 times, because nobody ever told me that. Ever. Reading it felt like taking a breath I didn't know I was holding for 10 years. Jason hated that the story blew up. He hated not controlling the narrative. Hated that people believed me. He sent one last message before blocking me. You ruined my life. I replied. You ruined your own. Then I blocked him too. Sure, the breaking point at therapy. Dr. Miller became the only person who really understood the depth of what happened. She didn't judge me. Didn't rush me. Didn't say cliché lines like, you're so strong. She said things like, you survived something you never should have survived. And, what happened wasn't your fault. Not then, not now. Not ever. For the first few weeks I couldn't talk without freezing. I'd start telling a story and my words would die in my throat. But Dr. Miller didn't push. She'd say, take your time. Silence is allowed here. And slowly, my voice started to come back. Not loud, not confident, but real. Farah, the friend who helped me find my voice. I didn't tell many people. Not my classmates. Not my coworkers at Starbucks. But I told Harper, my best friend since sophomore year. Loud, blunt, overprotective. The type of girl who'd fight a grown man with a plastic spoon. When I told her about Jason, she went silent for the first time ever in her life. Then she said, Avery, I swear to God, if I ever see him again, I'm going to jail that day. I laughed. For real. Not the fake laugh I've been doing for years. Harper was the one who convinced me to start leaving the house again. To go out, to breathe, to remember what being 19 should feel like. She made me feel normal, safe. She reminded me that life existed outside of trauma. It might be the final confrontation unexpected. 2 months after Jason moved, I saw him again. Not face to face, through the window of a coffee shop. I froze. Not the trauma freeze, but what the actual hell freeze. He looked different. Thinner, rougher, like life punched him back for once. I thought he might come inside. I thought he might cause a scene. I thought he might try to talk to me. But guess what? He didn't. He saw me. I know he did. Our eyes met for half a second. And he looked away first. He walked past the door. Didn't say a word, didn't even look back. And that's when I realized I didn't fear him anymore. Not even a little. I didn't freeze. I didn't panic. I didn't shrink. I just watched him walk away. And for the first time ever, I felt powerful. 6 the real revenge. People think revenge is dramatic, explosive, loud. But the truth is, real revenge is healing. Real revenge is peace. Real revenge is moving on while they stay stuck. Jason didn't just lose a house or a family. He lost control. He lost the ability to twist the story. He lost the silent girl he used to prey on. Because I wasn't silent anymore. Not in my head. Not in my heart. Not in therapy. Not in life. Jason will always remember me. Not as a victim, but as the quiet girl who ended him with nothing but truth. Started finding myself again. I redecorated my room. Got rid of the couch blanket I always froze under. Started journaling. Took walks. Had coffee outside. Played music loud. Slept without fear. I even chopped my hair and dyed it darker. Looked in the mirror and saw someone new. Someone who survived. Someone who grew. Someone who wasn't scared of a hallway or a couch or her own silence. Someone who didn't owe Jason anything. Just the ending I deserved. My therapist asked me one day, if Jason walked up to you again, what would you say? I didn't even have to think. I answered, nothing. Because silence isn't fear anymore. It's power. It's peace. And sometimes the best revenge is living a life they can't touch anymore. This is the part of the story nobody usually talks about. The after. The part where the villain is gone, the danger is over, the house is safe. But you're still rebuilding the version of yourself that the trauma tried to erase. Because ending a person doesn't automatically heal you. Sometimes the real war starts after they leave. 1. When the world finally felt bigger than my house. For months, my world had shrunk down to a hallway, a living room couch, a bedroom door I shoved shut with a chair. After Jason left, the world felt too big at first. Like I'd been underwater for so long that breathing real air hurt. Mom bought new furniture. She wanted everything Jason touched gone. New couch, new pillows, new blanket, new everything. But one night I realized something kinda important. He didn't deserve to ruin furniture. He didn't deserve to ruin spaces. He didn't deserve to ruin memories. So I kept the living room. Same layout, same colors, same TV, same lamp. Because the couch wasn't the problem. He was gone. 2. Learning how to live without fear. There were things I had to relearn. Things normal people don't even think about. Like sitting on a couch without bracing for someone to sit next to me. Like walking down the hallway without checking behind me. Like wearing shorts in my own home without feeling exposed. Like hearing footsteps and not panicking. The little things. The stupid things. The things trauma steals quietly. One day, I was sitting reading a book when Mom walked into the room. And I didn't jump. Didn't freeze. Didn't tense. Just looked up and said, "Hey." She froze. She realized before I did, I wasn't scared anymore. Through Harper dragging me back into life. Harper refused to let me rot in my bedroom like some sad Victorian ghost. Every week she'd come over like, "Get up, we're getting iced coffee. Put on shoes, we're going to Target. You need sunlight or your skin's gonna turn vampire white." She didn't treat me like I was broken, or fragile, or surviving. She treated me like I was Avery. Just Avery. Once she asked, "If you could go anywhere right now, where would you go?" And I said, "Anywhere that's not my brain." She grabbed her keys and said, "Perfect. Starbucks it is." And somehow it helped. Not because coffee fixes trauma, but because laughter helps glue the cracks back together. Because sitting in a car with your best friend blasting awful pop music reminds you the world still has color. Because being 19 is supposed to mean messy fun, not silent fear. 4. The day I finally talked about it. Dr. Miller didn't push me, ever. She waited. Until one day I didn't freeze. I didn't choke. I didn't shut down. I told her everything. My voice shook. My hands shook. My whole body felt like electricity. But I talked. And when I finished, she didn't pity me. She said, "Avery, do you understand how strong you are?" And for the first time ever, I didn't say no. Because surviving is a strength. Speaking is a strength. Destroying Jason's power was a strength. And healing? Healing is the strongest revenge of all. Found the unexpected message. 3 months after posting on Reddit, I got a DM from a random girl. I almost deleted it, thinking it was a bot. But the message said, I froze too. "Thank you for making me feel normal." And that was the moment everything clicked. My story wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to every quiet girl, every frozen girl, every girl who didn't fight back because her body didn't let her. Telling the truth wasn't just revenge. It was liberation. For me, for others, for the version of myself who never got to speak. The true final encounter. People think the story ends when the villain is gone, but real life doesn't always let you walk away without one last test. I was at the grocery store one evening, headphones in, pushing a cart of frozen pizza and snacks like a normal person. Then I saw him, Jason, standing at the self-checkout. He didn't see me at first, and I swear, my heart didn't even speed up. He looked smaller, like all his confidence had been leaking out of him drop by drop. And for once, I wasn't the one frozen. He was. His eyes met mine, and I watched recognition hit him like a slap. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something. Apologize, argue, defend himself, justify. But nothing came out. Nothing. He just stood there. And I walked past him, calm, normal, breathing, alive. He turned his face away. He was the one who couldn't look at me. Because guilt is a mirror, and he finally saw himself. That was the closure I didn't know I needed. No yelling, no drama, no chaos. Just him realizing I wasn't scared. Not anymore. I walked out of the store feeling lighter than I had in years. 7th, the life I built after him. Life isn't perfect now. Trauma doesn't disappear. But I'm living again. I go to class. I laugh more. I sleep better. I trust myself. I take up space. I speak when something feels wrong. I choose who gets close to me. I'm not the silent girl on the couch anymore. I'm the girl who survived, who exposed the truth, who rebuilt herself, who refused to break, who refused to disappear. Jason didn't ruin me. He ruined himself. And I got to walk away with my voice and my life intact. The ending I gave myself. Some nights I sit on the couch, the same one where everything once happened. I put on my favorite movie, curl up with a blanket, and just relax. Not freeze. Not panic. Just exist, comfortably, safely, peacefully. The couch isn't haunted anymore. The house isn't haunted anymore. My body isn't haunted anymore. Because healing is the ending nobody can take away from me. No matter what he did. No matter what he thought he had. No matter what silence he tried to twist. I healed. I lived. I won.
If you made it this far, thank you for listening. And if you've ever been through something similar, you can tell us your story in the comments. Pamen, you're not alone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Requiem of Stories for more narrations like this. I'll see you in the next one.